So I came across a toy recently. It's called the Flying Gyroscope, and it's incredibly simple. You find them all over the place actually. You can buy them if you want to, or you can make them from a soda bottle or bits of folded up paper, and it's called the Flying Gyroscope. It became incredibly popular, more popular than the Frisbee, I believe, for a short while. What you do is you throw them with a little bit of a spin and they create lift, and so they can go an incredible distance, sometimes 600 feet or so. They're very interesting things because it doesn't matter if you throw it to create an airflow or it's still and you push an airflow over it. It's all relative, it just depends where you're standing. It should still spin. So of course, I'm interested in the idea of whether that would make a decent wind turbine or not. So what I want to do is investigate that to find out if the Flying Gyroscope is any good at being a wind turbine. So of course, the first thing to do is to create a model of it, and I turned to TinkerCAD. And the first thing I came across was this, an NACA 2414 airfoil, which I want. I got it from Thingiverse, from Fungo 28408, and downloaded that file. So once we've imported it into the work plane, we can see there's our NACA airfoil with the airfoil running that way around. Now we've imported it, we need to re-export it immediately, but this time as an SVG file. Now what we do is go to the search bar and type in SVG. And it will pull up this particular shape called SVG revolver. We can drag that onto the work plane and we get a sort of tube, but we also get this. What we need to do is drag a file in here and it will change that shape to be SVG revolver. When it's done its job, you can see that what it's done is taken the SVG file and revolved it around the number of degrees that was specified in this pull down menu. Here, 300 degrees. If we zoom in on that, we can have a better look at it. And you'll see on this case, the airfoil is actually pointing the wrong way. It's pointing inside the tube, and I want it pointing outside the tube. We can resolve that by copying it, dragging a copy over there. And this, we've got sketch rotation, change that to 180. And you'll see that it's actually changed the way the airfoil is actually pointing. Now, of course, it's pointing downwards, so we need to flip that around. And if you like, this one's pointing inside, which we can see there, and this one is pointing outside, which we can see there. However, of course, there's a big gap in it. To resolve that gap, go to the revolve angle and type in 360, which will be a full circle. You can see it's a little jagged, and here we have number of sides that we can increase, so let's increase the number of sides. And it gets much smoother. We need to do exactly the same thing on this one. Now, like that, they're a little small, so what you do is export them as an STL file and then re-import them with 1000% scaling, and you'll get something about 100 millimeters across. By re-importing it with the scaling factor, you don't distort anything. Then I created a hollow cylinder and joined it to give me this. And we've got the airfoil profile as a bump on the outside, and then the cylinder, a little brace that I put in to hold it, and that creates my gyroscope, my flying gyroscope. Now, when you look at the toys, it's not clear whether the bump is on the outside, the bump is on the inside, or the bump is on both sides. So, I created this one with the bump on the outside and used the second one to create this with the bump on the inside. So now we want to know which one's better. And to get a guide to that, I'm going to measure the static torque. So that's it set up, turn on the fan, read the grams. So with the bump on the outside, the measurement I got was 1.6, and with the bump on the inside I got 1.2. So it seems like bump on the outside is a little better, but it's a bit equivocal with that test that I did. Anyway, this is not something that is unknown. Actually, these kind of ring-shaped wings have been used in aircraft before, with a few prototypes being made, because they do have benefits. One thing that they do is they reduce the lift-induced drag. Of course, everything is a trade-off, and there's another kind of drag called parasitic drag. Parasitic drag is where there's boundary separation on the airflow just because of the shape and material that an airfoil is made from. And so there's a crossover point, like most of these things, but there is a benefit in reducing the lift-induced drag from a shape like this. So, quite interesting. Of course, with parasitic drag, what's happening is the air's flowing over here, separating and tumbling off the end, creating an awful lot of turbulence, really. And I was pondering, would there be something we could do to help with that, and also to ensure the direction of rotation? And of course, all we really need to do is add fins, which is exactly what I've done here. And the big question is, what kind of effect does having fins add? So I've set up my new wind turbine design, and let's see how it performs. Oh wow. Okay, so for just a small model, that was actually kind of impressive. It was almost a 5-fold increase, so pretty cool. So adding the fins is helping with that, reducing turbulence and giving it a definite direction to rotate, I think. And I wanted to look at the internal bump with internal fins. So I put some internal fins in. This performed worse than this. This was only about 4 times, this was 5 times. So this produced worse output than this did. However, when we look at this and getting this into a form that would be a functional wind turbine, there's a lot more that needs to go on with this than needs to go on with this, because this is just a cylinder. What we could do is put our magnets right around here, surround it by a coil, and we have an integral wind turbine. So this would be very much easier to use. Equally, of course, if we want to hang this up, I'm thinking of the wind wall, where we just cut a load of holes in a board and slot that in the board. Then that's going to be really easy to make this into a usable wind turbine. So this, to my mind, actually has more going for it than this, because very often maximizing output is actually not what it's about. What you want is output at a low cost. The more complicated you make something, the more it's going to cost. So with little jutty out parts, that's going to be quite hard. The little jutty in parts, that's going to be much, much easier. So that's the one I'm going to favour. Now I'm probably going to put magnets around it and a coil, stick it in a board, and we'll see what happens, see if we actually generate anything, because this is looking quite promising as it stands now. As I say, it's all a bit ad hoc for sure, so I wouldn't get too excited, but it is certainly interesting and quite a nice investigation from a child's toy to a wind turbine. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and please do remember to like and subscribe.